Look, the promise to Abraham. Abraham was told, you will be the father of many goyim. Many nations. You'll be the father of many nations, Gentiles. And so the understanding of what Yahweh meant when he said that was what was lacking. People then didn't understand. Now it's being revealed through the Brit Chadashah, through the teachers in the New Testament, where they're revealing and saying, look, this is what it was talking about right here. We're bringing the Gentiles in as co-heirs and partakers of the promises. And by the way, as coming in, let's understand, they're coming in, they're joining in, they're grafting in. All of those statements, all of those phrases have implicitly in them the idea that something already exists that you're coming a part of, that you're becoming a part of. In other words, you have being preached out there every Sunday some idea that they need to come join the Christians. The Jews need to come to them. Everybody needs to come to... No, you're going to the existing thing that existed before. You're the newcomers. Romans 11, the tree, grafting into the existing tree. The secret is that you can be in that covenanted group. Now, it also says that there were members of that covenanted group that were broken off of the tree because they didn't keep it. So there's no sort of like, well, they were born into it, so they just sort of can skate all the way into the kingdom. All right, it doesn't work that way. But realize what he's saying here is that here's the secret, is that the Gentiles can be co-heirs united in the same body with who? The ones that were already heirs. There already have to be heirs for you to be joined into. And then be partakers together in what? The promise in Messiah through the good news. And by the way, the good news, and I've said this many times, we're going to do a teaching on it at some point, is not just the good news that Yeshua was born in the flesh, died, was buried, was resurrected on the third day, and now sits at the right hand. Although that's really good news. The good news has to do with things like this, that the Gentiles can come in, that there's a regathering of the lost Israelites. That was the good news that the people at that time were waiting to hear. But you're not going to hear that in church. Because the church just wants to tell you the good news has to do with Messiah only. No, it has to do with Messiah fully. You hear the difference? They want to say it's about Messiah only, meaning the way they understand him starting 2,000 years ago. I want to tell you the good news is about Messiah fully. Him as Yahweh, him as Torah giver, him as the walking, talking Torah, him as light, him as life, him as the truth. That good news has to do with Yeshua fully. Is that making more sense? As opposed to just Yeshua in this recent manifestation, which is what they focus on. They're not understanding the fullness of Messiah. How can you, if he's the walking, talking Torah and your whole main part of your gospel is that the Torah was done away with and nailed to the cross? You've missed the point clearly. And you can't be co-heirs with people that keep Torah and say that now that we're co-heirs with you, we're going to do away with the foundation of what you have. The core of the covenant that makes you an heir is Exodus 19. That is the core of the covenant of heirship, of being an heir. He says, if you obey, I will take you as my people. That is the core essence, simplified, Reader's Digest version, whatever, of the covenant. So the heir, that H-E-I-R, Ephesians is hearing Paul talk about it. The group in Ephesians, in Ephesus is hearing here, is to be co-heirs of what? The promises of Exodus 19. The promises to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The promises of peopleship. Being an accepted people. To be called children of the living Elohim. There's an if, though. To be co-heirs, you have to accept the covenant. The covenant had to do with Torah observance. Submission to authority. His authority. And doing it with all your strength, with all your being, with all your might.